Hello.
Nice to meet you.
It's absolutely a pleasure, isn't it? It must be very special for you. Why don't you start by telling us about your first memory of the festival? When did you first go?
Performing.
Yeah.
The first time I performed, I did a short one-woman show which wasn't in the brochure because I was filling in for someone who dropped out. And it was on the Free Fringe, which was a really good experience, but I was sleeping in a hallway by the recycling bin on that particular.
That's a good spot. How many other people in the flat?
I think there were it was a one-bedroom flat, and I think there were about 9 of us.
How many did the landlord think were in the flat?
I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Tell me about your favourite venue. Where's your favourite venue?
I don't know if I have a favourite venue. I think you follow the work, I think. I see a lot of stuff based on recommendations. But I end up at a lot of the same venues every year. I see like a lot of stuff at the Pleasance and the Assembly. I think Summer Hall always has some excellent stuff.
Yeah.
I do love Summer Hall. It's got a really nice atmosphere.
Yeah, the lecture theatres in Summer Hall.
Yes.
Really nice.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's cool, lovely. Yes, it's quite highbrow though. You need to write something quite important to get in there, I think.
Yeah. Need to drop the swears maybe. I never know.
Less swearing. What about publicity? How do you go about publicising your show? Do you do that yourself?
I would say yes. Me and we've got a very small company, and we go about publicising ourselves. And I'd say we're not necessarily very good at it. I think.
Right.
We've relied quite heavily on word of mouth, which thank God has worked out quite well. But it can be. I find publicity quite a struggle. I must say I haven't figured out how the best way to do it.
Do you do your flyering? Do you enjoy going out there and handing out
I love
flyers?
it.
Yes, that's the face of somebody who does. Yeah.
I find it very, very hard. Because I don't particularly enjoy being flyered myself.
No. My theory is nobody does.
I don't know if you would.
Nobody wants to hand out flyers. Nobody wants to be given flyers.
I quite like finding it myself. Finding the show, people tell you about it. That's personally how I like it. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I find that quite hard. If that's what you relied on, I think that could be quite a struggle because it's a whole different kind of magic you need to have about yourself to convince people to see what you're doing.
That's fair enough.
I think.
Where in Edinburgh is your favourite place? Where do you like to go when you're not doing festival business?
I've got to say, I love Arthur's Seat.
Arthur's Seat. I think that's going to be a very popular choice.
Or my bedroom.
Right.
Also popular.
So just slightly less footfall, I would imagine. Slightly. So above the sea, I suspect that's going to be a popular one with everybody that has the ability to get up there.
Yeah, I mean it's worth the trek if you decide to do it.
Yeah,
but
you've got to want it.
You've got to want it. You have got to want it. But once you get there, you get a real feeling of I don't know, it puts things a little bit in perspective because you can see the whole city.
Yeah. I happen to know that it took you a while to get up there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is it true that you every year said that it was something that you were going to do and then didn't get around to doing?
Well, that doesn't sound like me.
Right. But you've done it now?
I've done it now.
Right.
This is my 5th year.
5th year?
5th year.
Okay.
It was worth it.
Right then. Strap in and tell us about your worst Edinburgh moment. If it's not sleeping by a recycling bin.
I mean, that wasn't so bad. I think worst memory will be, I feel like I want to say maybe something to do with the reviews, or, I mean, you always get, I've never had someone walk out.
Okay.
But it can be quite low. I don't think there's been a particular moment where I've gone, this is the absolute worst, other than I think maybe a bad review. Hitting you at the wrong moment would be, this is, it kind of throws you off. It finds it very hard to find the heart to kind of.
I think this is something that's going to come up a lot, I suspect. You know, reviews are hard to take. Like, bad reviews are hard to take. You want to defend yourself, and you really shouldn't.
Exactly. I mean, everybody's is allowed an opinion, and I mean, I think it's just natural that you really want everybody to always, you've made this thing, and you really want everybody to like it, and they never will. You can't please everybody.
No. Do you agree that one bad review cancels out about 9 or 10 good reviews?
I don't want to say that's true, but I think it can feel like that.
Right. You tend to remember the 2-star, the 3-star.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just assume that the 1-star is wrong, right? The 1-star, the guy who gave you 1 star, that's just wrong, because the show was better than that. But the 2-star, the 3 stars, a bit harder to take. You worry about
Yes. Oh, wait, I have thought of one. I did have one bad moment where I was like, I don't know where I'll go from here. I remember doing a show and I fell incredibly ill during the run. And I remember before I had to go on to do the show, I remember crouching behind the curtain with a Lucozade, waiting for the opening music. I took a final swig and I just went on, and I think it got a really good response that day, but I think it was because everybody really felt like they really wanted me to get through it.
Right.
More than I think they enjoyed it. They just really wanted me to be able to get to the end.
Fair enough. Your first full-run solo show in 2013, the opening night of that, tell me about that.
The opening night, there were 2 people in the audience, and I knew them both. And I remember having said, I think this might be the nightmare scenario would be something similar to this. And I looked out at my 2 friends, and one of my friends just did this. I said, "You can do it." And I felt like, yeah, I'll go for it. I'll just do it as like a run and get the feeling of it. Thankfully, 2 people walked in late.
Right. Some late guys. Well,
thank goodness they turned up. But
and from that low, things got better?
By the end of the run, we were selling out.
There you go.
Which was great.
We love these stories. Those are exactly the stories that we want. It's never as bad as you think it is.
It's never as bad as you think it is. It feels like so overwhelming, but you just got to keep in there and make something that you would be proud of and that you would watch, I think.
Yeah. Go on then, tell us about your best festival.
I feel like selling out my first show was a definite festival high, because that was all word of mouth, because we were chronic at what's the word? Trying to tempt people in, flyering.
Yeah, publicity.
Publicity, we were chronic. I can't even find the word for it. But the best one, I think, last year we did a show, and I kind of revved up the courage to come out and do some sort of out in the courtyard, in character,
right.
Get out of the crowd. And I was playing a chimp last year. I was a chimpanzee, and I came out in character in my costume, thinking, I hope this goes well. And immediately, the very first thing that happened is a little girl saw me as a chimp, and she immediately came for me with her arms out and sat on my knee and gave me a hug. And then she led me as a chimp around the courtyard.
Nice.
And I think that's one of my all-time favourite.
Festival or otherwise?
I think just in life, that's
being
one of my...
led by a 6-year-old child.
It was just how easy it was for her. She was like, it's a chimpanzee, so I'll look after it.
Nice.
It's alone in the courtyard. It was lovely.
How do you deal with stress at the festival?
I don't.
Right.
I let it run riot.
Okay. That's one way to go.
I don't want to get in the way of it. I just let it power through.
That's fair enough. Would you have advice for someone else who maybe just wasn't really willing to?
I would say don't do that. I would say the best thing is a problem shared. I think a problem shared is a problem halved. And everybody's experiencing the same thing. Everybody will have these highs and lows, and the best thing to do would be talk to the people who you trust and who believe in what you're doing, like they believe in your show. And turn to these people. Turn to your team or your family or your friends. Just take a breath, maybe have an early night one day.
I mean, I think that's kind of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we're trying to create a network that says, don't be afraid to turn to the people who do the show before you and the show after you, and just have a hug or a high five or something.
People are so, I think once you open that door to it, people are so open to really, everybody wants to champion each other, because everyone's at some point will struggle. Like even if you're incredibly successful, like no matter how your show is going, at some point, regardless, I suspect it will feel really overwhelming. And if people know, the minute you find out people are feeling that way, you absolutely feel like you want to just support them.
Yeah.
Like just a little thumbs up. I remember that was one thing last year, is there was a company on at almost the same time, and there were two in our company, and there were like, I don't know, thousands of them, and we never really got a chance to talk because we were all beginning at the same time, but we'd just look over each other, give each other a thumbs up, and then we both go into our venues and do our shows. I remember thinking, like, even that just gives you a little bit of heart.
Yeah.
Like you all want each other to do well. Nobody's there to have a bad time. Everybody wants to have fun and come out being like, I've really got something out of it.
I think with all of the review scores and with like you need to sell tickets, there is a temptation that becomes, everybody starts to think of it as competition, and like everybody's competing for the same people.
I think that's true.
I think we need to get over that.
It's not the case. People don't. It's not you or them. It's everybody's, and there'll be a taste for like fetus and all of it. Dance, whatever you see, it's something for absolutely everybody.
Yeah. Finally, what does Edinburgh mean to you?
I think Edinburgh Festival can be one of the best places to be. If you let it, you can have the most fun, and it can be the most rewarding experience I think you can do. It can crush you, but equally, if you just find a different way of looking at it at those bad times, it can be super rewarding.
Yeah.
And you'll become, I don't know, you just learn loads about yourself, and loads of really good things can come from it. Even if it's not to do with your show, you could come out of it with a whole bunch of different friends, and you never know what will come from that.